My name is Johannesen from Checkpoint. I'm SE Manager and responsible for the Nordics and the Benelux countries. My presentation today will cover a little bit of what Checkpoint is today. So our values, our strategy, and our philosophy. I will start to just spend a few minutes on that. And afterwards, I will turn into the 3D security analysis. And I think that everyone here have had in their hand the report, a sample report, that I will go a little bit more into the details during the second point. Afterwards, I will brief you about the 2013 report, which is a consolidated data from a lot of reports made from all over the world, from all 2012. And then finally, I will brief you about the latest from our product side, except for all our endpoint portfolio. Checkpoint has been on the market since 1993, and the major start was with the network firewall, but since then we have evolved with a full-blown security gateway which encompasses also the next generation firewall, but also a full-blown endpoint concept and mobility concept, including a mobility portal and bring your own device concept. But you must come back to me afterwards if you're interested in hearing more about these concepts. So today we'll focus on the next generation firewall. First of all, about Checkpoint. As said, we started up in 1993. We have more than 100,000 customers today, and with 100% of the Fortune 100, which means that all the 100 biggest companies in the world are all Checkpoint customers. We are about 1,500 security experts in Checkpoint that are dealing 100% with the technology and with QA and R&D, etc. And totally, we are 2,500 people in Checkpoint worldwide. We're represented in 80 countries worldwide and have Checkpoint partners and partner programs in 88 countries. I think that's enough about Checkpoint. A little bit more about our positioning. I think that everyone here in this room are familiar with the Gartner MQ, the Magic Quadrant here, where I think that you have even seen this before today. But what you're probably not aware of is that Checkpoint have been in that quadrant for the past 16 years. So Checkpoint have been part of the leadership within the firewalls. And I think that this year they changed the focus from the pure firewall to the next generation firewall. So this Magic Quadrant now and fourth will reflect the next generation firewall and the vendors that are operating within that arena. This is another report that came out, I think, last week, and it's from the NSS Labs. And NSS Labs are doing a lot of research and a lot of comparison between different vendors. And this report reflects a report that compared 8 vendors with 9 different products. And in that comparison, Checkpoint came out as #1 within the next generation firewall. These specific tests here are for the IPS part. So when we provide attacker-initiated exploits and send them towards the firewall with the IPS enabled, then we are able to catch a very, very high amount of this traffic. And as you can see, no vendor of these shown here are able to catch 100%, but Checkpoint came very, very close. What they also pointed out is that with this, in this report, Checkpoint cemented its position as a leader in the next generation firewall market with this very high security effectiveness. And what was also shown was that we've shown a very good price-performance ratio. Normally, a lot of customers consider Checkpoint as a very, very expensive solution. But compared to the other vendors, we are not that expensive. Okay, and some of our values is definitely to increase your productivity in your organization. What we want to provide you with is tools that can make your administrators and your operators more efficient in the way they work with their daily security work in your company. So we provide management tools. We even have only one single management tool that are able to administer from the smallest security gateway to the biggest security gateway, including all the endpoint portfolio of products including portals for mobile connectivity and bring your own devices. So we have just one single management platform that are able to scale to the whole portfolio. We want to reduce the cost, and by reducing the cost, we mean mostly consolidation. So we're able to consolidate many security functions into one single box. So instead of having one box taking care of antivirus, another box taking care of IPS, a third box taking care of firewall, we're able to consolidate it on one box and save you a lot of overhead in maintenance contracts, in hardware, in electricity, etc. And then finally, we want to provide you with the best security solutions in order to secure your business in the best way. So we all the time try to work for excellent security solutions that are, like I showed you before, on top in relation to catching malicious content, in relation to separate networks, insecure networks from secure networks, to allow you to work with profiles that are really able to, we have in our portal, we are able to differentiate between a mobile phone, a desktop computer, and a laptop computer from the very same user. So we can apply different policies for the same username used by, from various platforms. Then we also have what we call a three-dimensional strategy in Checkpoint. This is our philosophy that the enforcement is the same as the technology. So definitely if you have a security challenge, you can provide a box that will deal with that problem. If you have virus in your network, you can provide a antivirus system and enable it into your system, and then it will probably work and operate. But what we're trying to do in Checkpoint is to have a more like a helicopter pitch on this. So we want to combine the various aspects of the security part, because the equipment and the enforcement point is not the only point that is of importance in this. The security policies in your organization is very important. It's very important that your users and your employees understand what is in the policy and that it works together with the technology. So in our technology, we are able to present the users with information from the security policy. So if a user is going to mail some, let's say, internal yearly report outside the company, it's considered as a confidential information, then normally he should not be allowed to it. Then he will get a warning from the enforcement, the technology here. He would say, hey, you are now mailing something that is considered as internal. You're trying to mail it outside on your email. That's not allowed. And then the person can say, oh yeah, that was by mistake. I put in the wrong person in my target field here. Or he can say, no, this is okay, because I'm going to send the yearly report to the external auditor, and this is okay. Okay, then the enforcement will present a dialog box where you can provide the reason for submitting this information outside. And then everything will be logged, and you can go back and track, hey, we had a situation here where an employee did something that is not in line with the security policy. Okay, but there's a reason for it, and we can document it and provide information. So that's the idea behind the three-dimensional security. We are considering IT security as a business process and not just a number of boxes and products that we are going to deploy and implement in the network. Okay, let's move to the security analysis and 2013 report. Everyone here is having a sample copy of this, what I'm going to show you now. The 3D analysis is a way of documenting the security gap that you maybe have in your environment, in your network. So maybe the security level is not at the level that you expect it to be or where it should be. Maybe you have a lot of unwanted traffic, maybe malicious traffic in your network. And 3D analysis can document this unwanted level for you. You can, let's say, document the gap that we have. What we do is that we provide an appliance box. We connect it to the network, but not in a usual way. What we do is that we connect it to a tap or a monitor port, and we will mirror all the traffic that flows inbound and outbound into the network, mirror and put it into the appliance. And in the appliance, we'll analyze all the traffic that flows through. So all the traffic that flows in and out of your network will be analyzed by this appliance. And then we can provide all the security functions and analyze for virus, for cyber attacks, for leakage, for bots and a lot more stuff. And after a few days or maybe a week, we can push a button, and then we can create the security report that is specific to your environment. And then you can have a copy of the report. We do that from Checkpoint side for free, of course, because we want to demonstrate to you our technology, and probably also to get into a discussion with you regarding if you have a gap that maybe can be filled out with some of the security functions that I'll present to you in a few minutes. What we did in the beginning of this year is that we published a report that shows the result for these 3D security analysis through 2012. So through 2012, we did an analysis of about 2,000 customers worldwide, where we run this 3D analysis report and consolidated result in this. Only about 880 enterprises are represented in this report because a lot of enterprises were not interested in sharing the data. We had military installations, we had governments that were not interested in being a part of this. So of course, they are not included in the completed report. But the data is consolidated, and it's not the result of a questionnaire or an analysis where we talk to the enterprises. No, it's a result of real analysis of real traffic flowing in and out of the customer's network. And here, just a summary of the results. 2/3 of the organizations had at least one user workplace or a laptop or whatever that were infected with a bot. Probably a lot more than just one, but at least one in 2/3 of all the organizations. You're probably also familiar with the anonymizers. An anonymizer is an application that will hide all the applications that a user connects to on the internet. So all the traffic will pass undetected through your existing security solution, through the anonymizers, in order that the user can, do what he wants to on the internet. So if he's doing Facebook, if he's doing some Twitter, if he's doing some, let's say, illegal download of movies or whatever, then it cannot be detected because it's passing through a tunnel that is encrypted. So almost half of the organizations that we analyzed, they had anonymizers in the users' portfolio of products that they used. Data loss, we also analyzed for leaking data, like social security numbers, credit card numbers, passport numbers, and other relevant data that is leaking out from the networks. More than half of the organizations that we analyzed in this report, they had leakage from data that just were leaking out from maybe users that were not really considering what they were doing. So we're just putting something in an email and send it to a group of people, including people outside, and then information is leaking out, and we are able to detect it with the DLP security function. You are able to download this report if you are interested. You can also find it on our homepage, so www.checkpoint.com, and then you can find this sample of this report if you're interested. Let's turn to the products for the last about 10 minutes, I think. First of all, Checkpoint invented the firewall about 20 years ago. A lot of stuff have been going on since then. What we invented was the stateful inspection principle that is basic to the network firewall. Since then, the firewall have evolved a lot. First with VPN, and then we had the next generation firewall capabilities, and now we had a complete security gateway with a lot of security functions in addition to the next generation firewall. From the first version was only meant for the Sun Solaris operating system, because that was the dominating operating system at that time in a secure environment at least. But since then, more than 80% of all our deliveries are from appliances today. But we still support what we call open servers. So if you have a preferred brand from IBM, Dell, or HP, or whatever, then you can still get a software license from Checkpoint and install and deploy it on your preferred open server. And the advantage with this solution in favor of the appliance solution is that when this platform gets old and slow, you can just migrate the software license into a brand new platform, so you get a completely new platform with a lot of performance. You cannot do that with the appliances. The license here is locked to the appliance. We have appliances from 3 gig firewall performance to about 200 gig of firewall performance. And of course, these numbers can be summed up. If you need to do more, then you can add more in parallel and do load sharing and load balancing. You can do high availability, and of course, all these features they are prepared for. We also have a solution, a software solution for VMware environment. So if you have to deploy a secure environment with your virtual machines, then you can deploy a security gateway right in the hypervisor of VMware environment, and then you can protect all the VMware systems that we have, the virtual machines. What we also provide is a virtual firewall on top of the single instance. If you buy one box here, you have one firewall. If you want more firewalls from the same platform, then you can buy a license that enable more virtual systems on the very same box. On the small boxes, we can provide 3 virtual systems, three virtual firewalls. On the bigger boxes, we can provide up to 250 virtual instances. Each instance with its own IP scope, with its own rule set for the firewall rule set, and also we can enable all the security functions that we have that we have to provide for the single instance as well as the virtual instance. So if you today have an appliance with IPS plate and you add more virtual instances for the small box, for instance, 3 virtual instances, then you will also have the IPS security function available for the 3 virtual instances. And the same applies for all the various software functions that we have. We have bundled a number of these security functions. So we have a bundle called the Next Generation Firewall that exactly includes what Gartner defines as a next generation firewall. So that's standard network firewalling plus intrusion prevention plus application control and identity awareness. So we're able to identify each user not only as an IP address but as username and machine ID, etc. All the details that we can provide. So this is a complete package. You buy a box and have completely this functionality. Maybe you say, I have today a firewall brand that I'm okay with, is working, but I want more security features enabled. How can I combine this? Then you can buy the next generation threat prevention that is all these security functions, just without the firewall. So you can keep your existing firewall in your environment, and you can add all the security functions that you have a requirement for in your environment. I want to mention just a small detail here. For the high-end appliances, we have what we call an acceleration module. And this module has up to 108 CPU cores inside, and it's able to handle traffic with a very, very high speed and a very, very low latency. And latency is a keyword in some environments, especially in data centers, where you have a requirement for a low latency. The way that packets travel through the network are measured in microseconds. And this SAM module, as we call it, the security acceleration module, are able to lower the latency through the security gateway to 5 microseconds. That's 50 to 100 times less than an ordinary security gateway. An ordinary security gateway is between 50 and 500 microseconds latency for a packet to travel through. And we lower it to 5 microseconds. So very, very good in data centers, very, very good in financial applications where you have a requirement for low latency. We have a few other offerings here. I can mention the Secure Web Gateway, very focused on securing the application environment that we have, protect our users. It contains the application control, antivirus, etc. So if we don't have a very comprehensive security solution today, we can protect our users by providing this layer of protection on top of our existing firewall. If you want to focus on the data leakage, then we have a bundle package here that contains the data leakage prevention software function. So we can provide that function to our network and detect if we have anything leaking out from the network. And then the final appliance I want to mention is a distributed denial of service protector, which is a box. It's in fact a full appliance that only has this function because it needs to be capable of handling high speed of packets traveling through. And we normally would place this box in the front of our existing security environment. So it will protect the whole infrastructure, including the firewall, from massive amounts of traffic. On all 3 layers, we're talking about the network layer, we're talking about the protocol layer, and the application layer. And this DDoS protector will protect us on all 3 layers, and a maximum of 18 seconds will pass until we completely have analyzed the content of the attack, until we have a complete protection in place. So it's not only protecting the access for the users, it will also protect the systems from breaking down when they are provided a lot of massive amounts of traffic sent towards these systems. Final thing I want to mention, final issue here, is a new compliance software blade. I think it was just announced last week, and it works exactly like any other security function, like an antivirus blade or IPS blade, so we can activate it in an existing security gateway. And what it does is that it measures our security up against various regulations. So if you are an organization that have some, let's say, legal requirements for your organization, if you have any credit card payments or something from your website or anything, then you are obligated to fulfill the PCI DSS directive, for instance. Or if you are measuring your security according to the ISO 27000, then we also are able to measure from minute to minute how good we comply to these requirements. So all the, let's say, electronic controls can be done automatically from this new software blade. So of course you cannot do the manual controls. You know, if you have a visitor to the reception, then according to some of these requirements here, you have to verify your visitor's book every day. Of course, we cannot do this kind of controls, but we can do the controls that are electronically in the gateway, in security gateway, and in the whole security environment. So you receive a report that states how compliant are we today in relation to the ISO, the HIPAA, the PCI DSS directive. So just remember, we are here to increase your productivity by providing you with tools that really are efficient for your administrators and your operators. We reduce the costs by providing solutions that consolidate your security, so you can gather several security solutions on the very same platform, managed from the very same management system, very easy to overview, reports, compliance reports, etc., also from the same system. And we also provide one of the best security solutions over the whole portfolio of products from Checkpoint. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Thanks.